Liberate IT is an Oracle NetSuite solution provider that has been servicing Australian and New Zealand companies since 2011.
Good morning, everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to the first of our Liberate IT Back to Basics training series. So I am Gabrielle Martel-Turner. I'm the Relationship Manager for Liberate IT. And joining us today is Michelle Konya, who some of you may have met at the recent event that we held last Friday. So it's very exciting to have Michelle on board. Now I'm just going to quickly whiz through a few housekeeping slides before we start. So just firstly, we are anticipating that today's session will be an hour, so we'll be finishing at 11 o'clock. So Michelle is going to run through the presentation and we're going to leave about some 10 to 15 minutes for questions towards the end of the session. So just so you know, if there are questions that we're unable to answer during the session, we will make sure that we follow those up either with Michelle or with our technical team. Right, okay, so without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Michelle.
Awesome, thank you very much, Gabrielle. And as Gabrielle mentioned, this is a webinar focused on the back to basics of saved searches. So some of you might find you already know things or it's going to be completely new to you. In today's session, I'm going to have a look at creating a saved search that would be available for, or a sublist saved search that's going to be available on your entity record as a custom sublist. So I'm going to show you how to create a saved search and how to create that sublist or custom sublist as well. And then I'm going to show you how you can make this search available to your dashboard view. So before we start, you really need to start thinking of what you will need out of the saved search. So what I like to tell everyone is write down and ask yourself the following questions. What fields do I want to see? What data do I want to source from the search? What do I want to see this search? So have a real think about that and who needs to see the search. So what I've done is I've created a scenario where I want to create a safe search for my sales team. They want to see all the expired estimates from specific customers. They would like to see this search as a sublist on the customer record. They would also like to see this search as a complete search on their dashboard. Then another thing they want to see is they want to see the expiry date. They would like to see contact information on the saved search. And then they also want to see the potential commission they would have earned. So let's say, or use a example of 5% on the sale amount. So I'm going to do a quick and easy formula on that saved search so that you can see how you can do easy formulas on saved searches. Let's just have a look at some basic requirements first. In order to create a sublist saved search, you must have at least one list record type field defined as an available filter. And it should be the first item listed on the available filter subtab of the saved search. This is so that the search will display the data relevant to the record selected. You will also need to check the box called available as sublist view. So I'm just going to navigate over to NetSuite. So first of all, let me just close out of all my tabs. So I'm going to show you how you would navigate to creating a saved search. So I'm going to show you two different navigation paths. So one navigation path would be building a search from scratch, and the second one will be building it from the estimate record already. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to do it from scratch. So you're going to navigate to Reports, Saved Searches, All Searches, and then you're going to go, Reports, Saved Searches, All Searches, New. And then you're going to go, you want to record a transaction, because this is the record that you're wanting to source it from, and it's an estimate record, so that is a transaction saved search. So I'm going to click on transaction saved search, and it's going to create a transaction saved search. Now in this one, I will actually need to go and source it as type is estimate, and then I'll have to click set on that. So you'll need to build the criteria from scratch doing it this way around. There's another way of doing it. If you navigate to transactions, sales, and you go to the actual transaction that you want to search on, and you click search, and over here you can click create saved search. So what the system would do is it would automatically say that the filter or the criteria is type is estimate. So it already narrows the search down to that. So that's great, great way to do this. Next, I'm going to name my saved search. So I like to use naming conventions, and it's leading practices to use naming conventions. It just makes it easier to find saved searches should you require to make any additional changes on it, or if you want to find it to put it onto your dashboard. So I'm going to use, so what I like to do is for personal saved searches, I will use my initials, and then I will name the saved search. But if it's for a company-wide saved search, I like to put the company initials. In this case, it's Dilly Services, so I'll put DS. And then what I can do is I can go expired estimates. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to put it or name it the way that I want to see it. So if I have a sublist saved search that I'm creating, I'll put sublist saved search. This is great, especially if you create a separate dashboard saved search, and when you go and find it, you'll have expired estimates, dashboard saved search, or sublist saved search, because it could be that you do make a few changes because you want to view it differently. Next, you have this little public checkbox. This is going to make it available to everyone or everyone with the correct permissions to view it. Or if you want, in my case, I only want it available to my sales reps or my sales managers. So what I'll do is I'll find the sales manager or just keep it as my sales rep. Next, I want to check that I want it available as a dashboard view. And I want to check it as a sublist view. So we will do other saved search back to basics, and we will touch on creating a saved search available as a list view, available as reminders, and show in menu. But I'm not going to be focusing on that today, so I'm not going to look too much into that. And I'm just going to make it as public for this search at this moment. Next, I want to narrow my search down, and this is where I'm going to use my criteria subtab. So this is where I'm going to narrow down. I've already put a filter in saying that the type is estimate, so it's already just going. I don't want to look at all the transactions. I only want to look at estimates. Another thing that I want to add in there is I want to say status. So the estimate status needs to be any of expired, because I don't want to see any other estimates, because this is an expired estimate saved search that I am creating. Next is I want to create mainline is true. So I'm just going to show you the difference between mainline is false and mainline is true, because I think that's always the better way to see it. So I'm first going to go mainline is false, and then I'm going to click preview or save and run on this. And then you will see that it's actually giving me the transaction line. So if I look at estimate 10 at this estimate over here, you will see that there's two lines. So you'll have the transaction line for $687.50 and the transaction line for 2,624. So if I open this, it's actually showing me the transaction lines in there. I'm going to go back to my saved search and I'm going to make it mainline is true. So this will show me only the main line of the search. So it's only going to show me one line of each transaction. So let me show you that. So as you can see, this is now concatenated that document 1041, and it only shows the main or the main total for that transaction. And that's what I want to see. I don't want to see it on line level. Next, I want to enter my results. So I'm just going to go remove all. And you've got this ability to go add multiple. And if you click on add multiple, you can add more than one line in here. I prefer just adding it one by one because you can key it in and find it, and you don't have to press your control key in to select the fields you want. So I'm just going to key my fields in. So I want to see my transaction number. So I'm going to find it and go transaction number, and I'm going to click add on that. Next, I want to see date. Then I want to see name, amount, and that's really easy. You just key it in. You can go due date is received by date, so that would be my expired date. Then I want to add a field, so a contact person, and this is going to be done through using a joint field. So what a joint field is, it's basically saying, so what the saved search is doing, it's looking at a transaction record and it's looking at all the fields in the transaction record. But I want to see something on the customer record. So that is a joint field. So it's joining on the transaction record, but you won't necessarily see that field on the transaction record. So it's called joint fields, and it's normally right at the bottom of the saved searches. And how you would know that it's a joint field, it has little 3 dots next to it. So what I'll do is I will look for either like a project or client joint field. And there you go, I've got my client / project joint field. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go that I want to add multiple, and I want to add the email address, and I want to add their phone number. Remember that when you are using joint or adding multiple, you have to put the control key in when you're selecting the second or the third option. So as you can see, once I clicked add, it added both there for me, so email and office phone number. Then the next thing that I want to do is I want to have my sales rep. And then I want to add a formula in there as well. So I want to be able to add a formula. So I'm going to add a numeric formula. The formula will depend on what you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to calculate a percentage, you're probably going to use the percentage formula. Or if you just want to search or source a field, then you're going to just use the text formula. So it just depends on what you want to do. And it's probably a bit more on advanced saved searches that you are going to be dealing with the formula types. So I'm going to do a formula numeric, and I'm going to do a basic formula. So I'm just going to open, so on the formula column here, I'm going to click that pop-up button. So functions, that is for advanced saved searches. We're not going to touch on that. I'm just going to show you how you can easily add or do a calculation on a field. So I'm going to look for amount, because I want to have the amount. So I want to see 5% the potential commission earned. So I want to see 5% of the transaction amount. So what I'm going to do, and it puts it amount in squiggly brackets. So those squiggly brackets is basically just sourcing it, saying that it needs to source the amount field. So I am going to go divided by 100, and then I'm just going to put my calculation in there. So times 5%, or not percent, sorry. And I'm going to click set, and I'm going to click add on that. So now if I'm going to go save and run, you will notice that my formula is in there, but it's saying formula numeric, and the sales reps won't know what they'll be looking at. So what you can do is you can rename this field. So now I'm going to go and rename the fields that I want to change. So due date, I want to change it to expiry date. So I'm just going to call it custom label expiry date. And then on the formula numeric, I am going to change it to potential commission. And I'm going to click OK on that. So on that custom label, that's where you will change the label or the column. Next, I'm going to show you some group fields. So if I want to group it, so I want to see all the customer names as a group. So if I'm going to click save on run, or save and run on this, you will notice that it's concatenated everything into a group. So it's saying that all the ABC Co transactions should go under ABC Co, and then I can open that, and that will break it or open all the transactions for ABC Co. I'm going to go return to my criteria. Oh, sorry. Edit search, not return to criteria. Then I want to say have a sum of the potential, or you can go sum of the amount. So now if I save and run on this, it shows me the sum of potential commission I would have made on ABC Co should they have accepted the estimates. I'm going to remove these groupings, but it's a great way to look at the summary types. Obviously, you have different ones. You've got count, so that would give you a count of the total. So it would give you, if I click count on this, it's going to show me the amount of different names there are. So there's 34 different customers on here. So it's putting it as a count. So I'm going to...
sorry, Michelle. Sorry, I've just had a request. You're doing a wonderful job, but are you able just to slow down slightly? A couple of our viewers are just having trouble keeping up.
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry about that.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Michelle. Thank you.
Okay, so that is basically everything on the summary type. I'm just going to remove all the summary types because I don't want it for this particular saved search. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. Then you've got your highlighters or highlighting tab. So once you go click on that highlighting tab, this is basically allowing me to highlight certain conditions. So if I want to, for instance, see expired estimates that expired within the last month and within this month, and I wanted to highlight, so I want to have it in a different color text, or I want to have a background color so that I can easily see which ones have expired first. I can do this by clicking on the highlighting tab, and then under conditions, you've got this little window that has, and if you hover over it, it will say set filters. And if I click on that, it would open this filters page for me. So I want to now say that the due date or received by date, and that's going to open another window, and it's going to say is within, and here I can select the month. So here I want to say that is within last month, and I want to click set, and then I'm going to click set again. And in here, I can then say that I want my text color to be red so I can clearly see it, and I want it to be bold. And I'm going to click add on that. Now I can add another condition. So I want to say I want to see all the expired estimates that expired within this month, and I want it to show in a different way. So I can do this by just clicking on that little set filters button over there again, and then I can look for my filter or the field that I want to filter. So I'm going to go within, and then I'm going to go month, and then I'm going to go this month. And I'm going to click set and set on that again. So now I'm going to define what it needs to do again. So I'm going to go the text color. I don't want it to be red. I maybe want it to be black, but I want the black background color to be yellow so that's easy for me to see. You can also add an image in there if you want. And then I'm going to click add on that. Next is your available filters page. So remember how this is one of the requirements when you are creating a sublist search. So you need to have a list filter, and it needs to display the first. So I want to have it source on name. And I'm just going to click add on that. If I want to show it in my filter region on the saved search, I can check this box. I don't want it to do that. So I'm just going to keep it as that so that I can create that sublist saved search. I'm just going to go save and run. And then you can see how that highlighting has taken place. So this saves, or this quote has expired within this month. So as you can see, I changed the wrong to expiry date. So let me fix that quickly. I changed the wrong name to expiry date. So I'm just going to remove that, and I'm just going to add it at the correct field. So under due date. So now if I go save and run on this, my expiry date, that due date is now expiry date, and potential commission has also changed. That's what I did previously. So you can have a look, and as you can see, if I scroll down, anything that has expired last month, it has highlighted it in red, and you can see that little red arrow that's popped up on this month's expired estimates. So my sales rep can easily call my client and see what's happening on that, and whether or not they want to still proceed with it, or if they what happened, why didn't they accept the quote. So there you have it. So I've basically showed you the criteria tab. So this is how you narrow your searches down. The results is what you're viewing. Then you've got your highlights tab. So if you want to set any specific highlights on your saved searches, and then you've got your available filters tab. And this is the filter that you need to add and able to run that sublist saved search. So I'm going to click save and run on that. And I'm now going to show you how to create a custom sublist so that we can actually run this on the client end. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to customization, forms, and then you're going to go sublists. Then you've got these subtabs here. So you've got transactions, entity, item, and CRM. I'm going to go to entity. because I want to display the sublist saved search on my customer record. So in here, I can select my saved search. So because I used my naming convention, I can easily find my sublist saved search and I know which one to select. I'm going to click on that. And then I want to label it. So what do I want to see? So I want to see it as expired estimates. And then what tab do I want to see it under? So if I'm going to go to a customer record, just bear with me. What tab do I want to see it under here? So I want to see it under this sales tab. So what I'll do is I will select sales tab in here. So this is what will name the tab, and then this is where the tab will appear. And then I want to say I want to only see it under my customer record. So you can select the entity record type that you want to view the saved search under. So if you're doing a vendor saved sublist saved search, you'll select vendor here instead. So I'm going to click add on that, and then I'm going to click save. Just going to go to my home dashboard and I'm going to show you what this looks like. So I'm just going to go to one of the client records. Just excuse, this is a demo account, so it is a bit slow because there's a lot of scripts running in the background. So I'm going to my customer that actually has an expired estimate so you can see what the saved search will look like. And then if I go to sales, we've got our expired estimates here. And there you go. There is the saved search that I've created. Next, I want to add this saved search onto my dashboard. So if I go back to my saved search, to make it available for dashboard view, it's this little checkbox that I've ticked over here to make it available on my dashboard. So I'm going to personalize my dashboard. And then I'm going to go custom search and I'm going to add that portlet. And then I'm going to click setup. And now, yet again, because of my really good naming convention, I am able to search for my saved search by just entering the letter. Sorry, my system is a bit glitchy just because there's a lot of scripts running in the background, as I said before. So normally it will give you a list of all the DS ones that's on there, but obviously there's just one, so I've selected that. Then what I can do is I can click save. And as you can see, the saved search is now on my dashboard, and you can easily see what I have, the details, and I can easily see the highlighted customers, so I can see, oh, I need to call them urgently because theirs expired within this month. So that is everything that I wanted to touch on today. Do you guys have any questions for me?
There's just one at the moment. Michelle, could you just run over the filters explanation again, and also just do the filters needed, and also just a little bit of explanation about what the filters are for?
Oh, so the criteria and the results tab?
Wonderful, thank you.
Yep. So let's navigate back to my saved search. So you've got your criteria tab. So the criteria tab is how you narrowing your search down. So if I'm going to remove all my criteria, and I think it's always better to see what I'm doing. So if I click save and run on this now, it's going to create a transaction saved search with all my transactions. So it's not just going to have my my estimates on here. It's going to have every single type of transaction here. So it's going to have my supplier invoices, everything. So what I'm doing on my criteria tab is narrowing what my search is giving me. So by going on the filter, so you've got your fields here. And I know that my transaction type, so that is the type of transaction. So do I want to source just bills? Do I want to see my cash sales only? In this case, I only wanted to see estimates. So when I set that, it's going to go, I want to see all my estimates. So what the saved search is now doing, it's going, let me see all the estimates, so transactions that are estimates, narrowing it down so that it only gives me transactions that are estimates. Then I want to narrow it down even more. So now it's showing me all open estimates. It's showing me estimates that haven't expired, estimates it's showing me literally all statuses of the estimate. And what you can do if you're not 100% sure on what fields to source, you can have a look at your estimate records. So if you go to your estimate record, so we already know that the type is an estimate, but if you're not sure how you want to source it, you can have a look at the fields, and in here you can see that status. What is the status? What am I wanting to source? So if I go to my saved search and I go to criteria and I go status, I can go, no, I don't want to see open bills because I'm looking at estimates. So I'm going to go down to all my estimate statuses. And here you've got open estimates. Do I only want to see all my open estimates and not see the others? Do I want to see only my expired estimates? And this is where I'm going to select expired estimates or estimates that are closed. Do I only want to see those? So this is narrowing it down even more. And then we've got our main line. So mainline is true is basically just showing me. So if I go mainline is true, it's only showing me the main line of the transaction. So if I click save and run on this, it's not going to give me the transaction line. So if I open one of these estimates here, it's only showing me this main line in here, the total main line. Whereas if you say main line is false, it will show me the transaction line totals. So if I had more than one item on here, it would show item 1 and 2 on here. So if I go to a transaction that has 2 lines on there or transaction lines on there, it would have item laptop repair. So it's going to show me both these lines at the bottom, and it's not going to show me the main line. For my search, I wanted to see main line as true. Then on the results tab, so the results tab is what fields you want to view on the search. So this is really the results that it's giving you. So if I click on preview here, I've got my transaction number in there, I've got my date in there, I've got my name, amount, expiry, email, office phone, sales rep, and potential commission. So these are the fields that I asked it to show me. So if I want to add any additional fields, so if I want to see the transaction type as well, I can go transaction type, click add on it, and then I can go save and run. And as you can see, it has added that transaction type, and it's showing that its type is estimate in there. So I'm going to go back to my results. You also have your summary types. So you've got the following summary types. You've got group, count, sum, minimum, maximum, and average. So normally for text fields, you would use group. And what group would do is it would group it in the name. So if I click save and run on this, it's going to go to my name field and it's going to group all the transactions. So it's going to go the company name, ABC Co, and group all the transactions in one group. Then you have your summary type. So going back to the results screen, you've got your summary type sum. And this will show you a sum of the amount field. So it's going to add all the amounts together, so all the transaction amounts together for that group. And it's going to say this is the total sum for this company. So if I click save and run on this, you can see that we've got ABC Co, and they've got 77,760 amount of expired estimates. So that's a lot of lost potential commission on that company. So I'm going to click back on edit search. Another great one that you can maybe use would be your maximum. So minimum obviously explains exactly, it basically does the opposite. So it shows you the minimum amount. So if you go save and run on this, it's going to show me the maximum potential commission that I would have earned out of the transaction. So what is the maximum transaction that I lost out of for this specific group? What is the maximum amount? Let's go back to, you can also go and have an average of that group. So if I click save and run on that, it puts my average or average of potential commission lost in that summary type there. Going back to my search, back to results. Then you've got your custom labels. So what you do here is you can create your custom label. So if you don't want it to say due date received by, you can say I want to rename it to expiry date. And the same as with formula numeric, I don't want it to say that, so I wanted it to say potential commission. So once I've actually added that custom label, it shows me my potential commission, and it's showing. So let me just open the search a bit further, and you can see the expiry date on there as well. So I'm going to go back to edit search, and I'm also just going to show you count. And I am going to put a count summary type on transaction number. I'm going to click save and run on this. And then you can see how many transactions there are for this customer. So ATF services. And if I open it, you will see there's only one transaction in there, and it will open straight to that transaction. So that's what count is quite useful for. So ABC Co has 2 transactions or 2 estimates in this grouping. Are there any other questions that I can answer? Or
Yes, thanks so much, Michelle. I've had feedback that was brilliant, and you covered the extra information that was needed. Just another query or a request, just to quickly go over how to see saved searches in the dashboard, and also how to save. I guess it's the same question. How to save your search to the dashboard. That would be wonderful. Thank you.
yeah. So in order to have that saved search on your dashboard or available as a dashboard view, you need to make sure that this checkbox on your saved search has been checked. So it's by just checking that, saving and running your saved search, make sure that the saved search has been saved. And then what you do is you go to your home dashboard by clicking on your home dashboard button. And I'm just going to remove this so that I can show you how it works again. And then on personalize, you're going to add a custom saved search portlet. So there you have your custom search. I'm going to click add on that. And as you can see, once I clicked on that, that actually appeared at the bottom. So I'm going to close out of that. And then I'm going to click setup. And then in here, it's got your search bar here. And then this is where you would add your saved search. So if I click list on this, this would give me all my saved searches that's available to me. I obviously used my naming convention. So if I go TDS, I can see all the saved searches that I've done for daily services. So this is where that naming convention really comes in handy. And then if it was one that I specifically made just for dashboards, I can have dashboard in here, because if I maybe had one expired estimates for sublist saved search and one for dashboard, I would know which one to select. So obviously there's just one, so that wasn't really needed. I just wanted to show you what that would look like. Now you would select that, and then what you'll do is you'll click save. And then what happens is it will show you your saved search. So remember how I made those changes to that saved search? It now shows me the saved search, a complete different saved search in here.
That is fantastic. I think it's so important, isn't it? Because often sort of in our day-to-day NetSuite life, we have so many saved searches, so being able to find them and going over that naming convention is fabulous. So Michelle, I don't have any questions at the moment, but if anyone does have any burning questions right now, please do type them in. And you've made wonderful time, Michelle. Everyone now has time to a spare 10 minutes to go and have a coffee.
This video gave you the information you were after. If you have any further questions, get in touch with us using the links in the description. At Liberate IT, we can provide free consulting to understand your business system requirements, understand your company growth plans, and provide free NetSuite demonstrations. For more information, visit our website.